Facts, dates, and events presented in this video are from the members' best recollection and may not be fully accurate. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Always consult with your local union about your rights and duties at your workplace. The opinions shared on this video are our own and do not necessarily represent my employer's positions, strategies, or opinions. All views shared are protected under the National Labor Relations Act.
Hey, brothers and sisters, welcome to the next episode of the Biweekly Grievance. I'm your host, Dan Arlen. Today we're going to talk about the contract negotiations as Nationals were set to kick off May 1st, yesterday. And also yesterday was a celebration of May Day. We'll get into that. So today we're going to talk about General Secretary Treasurer, National Negotiating Committee Co-Chair Fred Zuckerman will host a contract update on Zoom May 7th at noon. And this is open to all members, not just the stewards. So all these people looking for updates and wanting to hear from the horse's mouth, Fred will be holding a Zoom meeting this Sunday, May 7th at noon, to give everybody an update as to what is going on at Nationals, where we stand on the remainder of the supplements and riders. So that's a must-see. Don't miss that, guys. As you guys all have heard, I'm sure, UPS has been messing around with the F around and find out matrix. The clock is ticking louder as UPS is put on notice by Sean at Nationals yesterday to get these supplements done, and that Nationals will not begin until people get their act together at UPS and settle these issues in the supplements. Contract action team training continues across the country. In May, you have the Central Region, Indianapolis, Local 135 on May 7th. Also on May 7th, Blaine, Minnesota, Local 120. Oakland, California, Local 853 on the 7th. And also on the 7th, New Orleans, Local 270. May 20th, there are two of them. Tukwila, Washington, Local 171. Phoenix, Arizona, Local 104. On May 21st, there's also two. Kansas City, Missouri, Local 41. And Denver, Colorado, Local 455. And on May 28th, Southern Region, San Antonio, Texas, 657 rounds off the May trainings. And there's more into June or July. You can find those on the Teamster app if you're wondering if there's one closer to you. This week, good episode on the Roswell Hub. He interviewed Teddy Ostro, host of the podcast, The Upsurge. Both shows, excellent shows. I will put their links below in the description. Please check them out. And my understanding is this coming weekend, the Roswell Hub will also be doing a contract update with panel experts Richard Hooker and Greg Kerwood. I'm sure that's going to be a fantastic show, so check that out. 90 days left in our UPS contract. And the clock is ticking louder than ever, guys. This absolutely is going to be a trying time to try to get this contract done. And mind you, the negotiations need to be done approximately 2 weeks prior to August 1st in order to get a vote. So UPS better change their attitude. Also, yesterday was May Day, or also known as International Workers' Day. What is it? Well, in May of 1886, there was a national strike to promote 8-hour days because back then the suggested workday was 12 hours. At that protest, it was in Chicago in Haymarket Square. It turned violent and people died. And to pay tribute to that, May Day, or International Workers' Day, was born. It promotes unity and celebrates workers' struggles and rights all over the world. Labor Day in the U.S. was created to distance itself from that day, and is celebrated on the first Monday of September. Because obviously they want to distance themselves from what happened on May 1st in 1886. May Day brings to light that 30 million people work in slavery conditions around the world. 32 billion is generated through cheap labor every year. 10 years old is the average age of children working in hazardous conditions around the world. As I stated before, 12-hour workday was originally set before May 1st, 1886. 1886 is when the workers took to the street to protest those 12 hours. Over 200,000 people took part in that protest, and is now celebrated in over 60 countries around the world. Squeezed by inflation and demanding economic justice, people took to the streets across Europe, Asia, North America, South America to mark May Day yesterday. Indonesia, Taiwan, Germany, Spain, Ukraine, Russia, Venezuela, Bolivia, Brazil, France, South Korea, Japan, Macedonia, Pakistan, Turkey, all across the globe, including the U.S., celebrated May Day yesterday and saw record numbers of people after pent-up frustration of 3 years with COVID restrictions. I apologize that the video didn't get put out yesterday on Tuesday, May 2nd. I had some editing issues, which I've since been able to resolve. So sorry for the delay, but the good news is that more information has come out since I recorded the episode. So here it is. Teamsters have announced that UPS Teamsters National Negotiation Committee will return to the bargaining table on Wednesday, today at noon, to see whether UPS executives will deliver on their commitment to wrap up the few issues still unsettled for supplement and rider agreements. So apparently they're not completely wrapped up, but they're getting close. There's a couple of lingering things. During the face-to-face with the company shortly before 5 p.m. yesterday, which would have been Monday, Teamster General President Sean O'Brien told the company the union wants national negotiations to get underway now. UPS has burned up enough of our members' time. There is no reason for another full week should pass us by without UPS making up its mind and reaching final tentative agreements on our supplements, said O'Brien. Negotiation for the Teamsters National Master Agreement will affect more than 350,000 UPSers. You would think the company would take that seriously. We'll find out today if that's true. Teamster committees for outstanding supplements met throughout the day on Tuesday and continued into the night. Committee members, including full and part-time rank and filers, will remain at the ready to continue bargaining should UPS fail to make meaningful movement. They go on to say no concessions, but a lot of preparation, a whole lot of work, said Teamster General Secretary Treasurer Fred Zuckerman. That's been the Teamsters' approach this whole time. No company will outwork the union to protect our members and get the job done. Sounds like a lot of great stuff. We will see. Proof is in the pudding, as some people have said. But some of the announcements they have made, which aren't particular details but highlights, is that apparently the company was looking for a 5 and 7, which is they were looking for flexibility to work members any 5 days out of 7 instead of the 5 on, 2 off that we are accustomed to and is in our contract. But Sean, Fred, and the committee squashed that across the board. That's not an issue. Across the board, they were able to protect overtime and achieve overtime for part-time workers. Grievance reform, new national forms to expedite the grievance procedure. Seniority and bidding for preferred jobs. This affects the part-timers. Protecting seniority and strengthening our bidding rights to move into preferred positions is so important for part-timers nationwide. Seniority means our work is appreciated. Bidding means our hard work is paying off. This gives part-timers a sense of accomplishment and respect that we never would have had before. So my understanding of that, I don't have the particulars, but Right now, I guess a lot of part-timers get told where they're going to work, and this will allow them to bid more preferred jobs and work their way up, which is absolutely appropriate. And lastly, they said there was 0 concessions across the country in any supplement, rider, or addenda. The Teamsters have given nothing back, and UPSers will make gains under all new agreements. So sounds like all kinds of great stuff. I'm going to post the link and the flyer that I received, but this Sunday, May 7th, Fred Zuckerman will hold a Zoom meeting with any and all members to report on the contract. I don't know if there'll be specifics, but this is a not to be missed call. You do have to pre-register for this call. It's at noon Eastern Standard Time on May 7th. So example, 9 a.m. in Pacific time. So I will post the link in the descriptions below the show on YouTube. So make sure you register, and this is important for all of us. So I hope to see historic numbers on that call. All right, guys, that's the additional update I have for you. And lastly, I'm going to leave you with a message today, sent by a young lady over in Paris at one of the rallies yesterday. A message of solidarity. She mentions UPS and our contract struggles amongst other major ones in the U.S. Solidarity truly is a global effort. Yesterday proved that, and I learned a lot reading up on that. I tried to get a guest on to explain it a little bit better, as I'm not an expert on May Day, but I was unable to make that connection. But I summed it up. It's worth a read. You guys should look into it, do a Google search, look into it. There's a lot of history there, a lot of it relevant to the labor movement and what we're going through now. Short and sweet episode, guys. This is the Biweekly Grievance. Thank you for your time and effort watching the show. Please subscribe to the channel on YouTube, share and like it, leave comments, and tell your friends about it. I would really appreciate that. You all have a good day. Solidarity forever, brothers and sisters. This is the Biweekly Grievance. See you next week.
I'm here on May 1st from Paris, where a massive show of force is being expressed in the streets by the workers and students of France. After 3 months of vicious struggle and strikes, energies are high to continue the fight against Macron. Despite his having passed the pension reform, we see that there's still the will and energy to mobilize. And that's what we here are hoping to accomplish with the comrades of Révolution Permanente and the Network for the General Strike. We would especially like to signal all our support to those workers in the heart of the U.S. who, despite major repression, are fighting to unionize in small workplaces, as well as international giants from Amazon to Starbucks to Apple, even Trader Joe's. And we would wish to highlight and show solidarity for those preparing for their contract negotiations in several strategic sectors, from the UPS Teamsters, who move 6% of the U.S. economy and 2% of the world economy, to the workers at the big 3 auto companies in Detroit. If these key sectors are able to give a show of their force and go on strike, it would be an example and inspiration to all workers, including those here in France. We know that the road is long, and by building and connecting the workers' movements the world over, we also know that those in the U.S. will regain the means to demonstrate their strength and strike a blow against all forms of oppression and exploitation that befall them in the heart of imperialism. Solidarité.